session.
Hare Krishna
Anybody who
Prabhu,
is, yeah, go on, please, bro.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Uh, Prabhu, this is Aditya. So I was
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Aditya. Actually, Prabhu, I wanted to share something with you. So when I was coming back from Bombay, I had your instruction in my heart where you told me to preach to someone when I'm traveling. And the very same day you told me that, Prabhu, I met a Mataji from ISKCON Juhu. She's actually an initiated disciple of Lokanath Swami. So I did not speak about the Guru thing. I just told about ISKM and I told her how we are planning to start a center in Bombay. I told her about the location and things. And she told she will definitely visit one day. And she was on her way to Chennai. So I also told her about her ISKM Pondicherry center. I don't know if she'll visit or not, but I couldn't ask her for her contacts. But I also. I, 1 minute. I also told her about uh, our other preaching initiatives, especially in China, also, and she seemed very what you say impressed with the things that were told to her by me. I told her about all these things, and I hope she comes though. And so she had asked some questions that how the rhythmic initiation happens, and that she was also saying that. Does your Shiksha Guru chant on the beads or do you offer it to Prabhupada and things? I was unable to answer that, so I told it, to check out the ISKM channel. So yes, Prabhu, that is one thing.
We follow the July 9 directive. With this, everything is very clearly spelled out.
Yes, Prabhu.
I don't know you have read the letter.
Yes, Prabhu.
He said that the Ritvik representative will chant on the beach.
Yes, Prabhu.
And the temple president will do the fire sacrifice.
Yes, Prabhu.
And
Yes,
that's how
Prabhu.
it is done.
Yes, Prabhu.
Following the direction given by Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhu.
I don't know why she has to ask such a question as though everything is impersonal with us or something. Yeah?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
So you should have explained how the Ritvik representative is doing all the ritual that is done by
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhupada. He has assigned that to the Ritvik representative, and then the person is disciple of Prabhupada.
Yes,
That's what
Prabhu.
progressing spiritually. The Shiksha representative of Prabhupada, there are many of them. They can help the candidate to make good spiritual advancement.
Yes, Prabhu.
The first thing is first. If you take a person who is a conditioned soul, not authorized by Prabhupada, then he cannot become a guru.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
Yeah?
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Correct.
Yes,
This
Prabhu.
is the point I spoke at length at the other meeting in our meeting with Preetanandas,
Yes, Prabhu.
So they don't understand that you can only become a guru if you're authorized by your guru.
Yes, Prabhu.
You cannot do it otherwise. That's not possible.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. And Prabhu, for
See
my
here, one should take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master.
yes, Prabhu.
Coming the
Yep.
disciplic succession, who is authorized by his predecessor spiritual master. This is called Diksha. So where is
Yes,
the authorization? That's our question. Apart
yes,
from the
Prabhu.
July 9 letter, there's no other instruction issued by Prabhupada to anybody to take up this role.
Yes, Prabhu.
They show us some letters dated in 1968 that I want all my disciples to become spiritual masters. And yeah, Prabhupada was very encouraging in those days, 1968. But then Prabhupada said, whatever I tell you to do now, you do now. You don't come and tell me you told like that before and this and that. So
Yes,
now
Prabhu.
July 9 letter, Prabhupada is giving a complete order that you do this.
Yes, Prabhu.
You can't bring a July 1968 letter and 1967 letter and see Prabhupada said you become Guru. It's not valid.
Yes, Prabhu.
Understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
So this is a mistake they are making to substantiate their so-called authorization. They are bringing letters, outdated letters.
Yes, Prabhu.
You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm. So where's the authority?
Yes, Prabhu.
Then they
There is no
argue
authority.
because they are very offensive. How did Prabhupada get authorized? Huh? Here we are talking about you, and you want to blame Prabhupada. Prabhupada is fully authorized. He's more than 100% authorized because he's so
Mm.
authorized that you are now chanting Hare Krishna. Hello.
Yes, Prabhu.
Huh?
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
this is their what? I would say their prudent, no? Their what? Their
Yes, Prabhu.
arrogance, trying to question Prabhupada. This is
Yes,
nonsense.
Prabhu.
You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you should have spoken this to that lady to explain that she is not in line
Yes,
because
Prabhu.
her guru is not authorized.
Yes, Prabhu.
Understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm. At least you enlightened her.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Here's a question here.
Uh, and Prabhu, for the second part, it was that many even when we are in the association of devotees, we are able to do all the spiritual practices very well. But when we are in
Huh?
when we are in other places, like material places, we fall for lust and other things, which cause a lot of suffering.
What
And
about that?
I it's like despite being in such conditions, how can we stay away from suffering and falling for lust?
I mean, if you follow the guidelines given by the spiritual master, that means you strictly follow the morning program, take only Krishna Prasadam, chant your rounds, then this is an assurance by the spiritual master to protect you from, you come to the mode of pure goodness, you won't be disturbed by the mode of passion and ignorance.
Yes,
That's the
Prabhu.
whole idea. The whole idea is to upgrade yourself to come to the level of pure goodness. If you don't come to the level of pure goodness and if you stay in a mode of passion and ignorance, then you will definitely be disturbed by lust and so on.
Yes, Prabhu. And
Hmm?
lust causes a lot of sufferings, which nobody wants to go through. I myself don't want to go through any of these sufferings, but lust is so binding that it sometimes affects our own spiritual practices, Prabhu.
That's why you need good association.
Yes, Prabhu.
If you stay alone and you're going to stay with all the non-devotees, then it's going to definitely, what to speak about you. Even Prahlad Maharaj is saying, he's saying here, you can see how he's, cautioning us. Prahlad Maharaj is saying here, my Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I'm certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, or your frowning eyebrows. I do not fear your sharp pinching teeth, your garland of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your high wedge like years. Nor do I fear your tremulous roaring which makes elephants flee to distant places, or your nails which are meant to kill your enemies. See, Prahlad is saying he's not frightened of this very fearful form of the Lord.
Yes,
On the
Prabhu.
contrary, O most powerful and insurmountable Lord, who are kind to the fallen soul, I have been put into the association of demons as a result of my activities. And therefore, I am very much afraid of my condition and life within this world. You see this point? He's
Yes,
not
Prabhu.
frightened about this fearful form of the Lord, but he's more frightened about being in the association of non-devotees.
Yes, Prabhu.
When will that moment come when you will call me to the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the ultimate goal for liberation from conditioned life? So this is what we all should be cautious of. Because if you go with the association of non-devotees, then you will definitely get disturbed by their so-called qualities.
Yes, Prabhu.
So it's dangerous.
Yes, Prabhu.
That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, Asat Sangatyak, E Vaishnava Achar. So he was asked, what are the things to avoid? And he said, these are the things to avoid. Asat Sangatyak, association of non-devotees should be given up. And what non-devotees? He classified them as Sri Sangi, Sadhu, Krishna, Bhakta, Sri Sangi means association of women,
Yes,
and
Prabhu.
Sadhu, non-devotees. This association should be given up.
Yes, Prabhu.
Unless we do this, how we cannot be disturbed by Maya?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
So you have to work on it, It's very difficult if you're all alone, sitting with all the non-devotees.
Yes,
Definitely your
Prabhu.
mind will become disturbed because you're going to pick up many of the bad qualities that these
Yes,
guys are
Prabhu.
all, harboring.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So you try to fix yourselves in this devotional process by waking up early and chanting all your rounds. And if you can only eat Krishna Prasadam, that's another sure way of trying to be able to conquer this powerful enemy called lust.
Understood, Prabhu.
Hmm.
Yes, Prabhu.
There's no other process to it. Until you get Krishna, you'll always be disturbed by lust, anger, greed, and so many things.
Even envy, Prabhu. A lot of envy
Yeah,
also in the.
yeah. All these bad qualities will kind of manifest in the heart, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
So that's why the mode of passion is classified as the enemy.
Yes,
Krishna
Prabhu.
says that is our enemy, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu.
So we should learn how to give up this enemy.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right? See, that's why the mode of passion and ignorance, Krishna said, this is your enemy, your greatest enemy. People
Yes,
don't
Prabhu.
know. People don't know. They think this is life.
Yes,
Uh,
Prabhu.
when you go to the mode of passion and ignorance, you will develop all the bad qualities.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So therefore, you have to be careful.
Understood, Prabhu.
Any other questions? Some more questions in the chat. Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavan. I want brahmachari diet. So brahmachari diet is a suttva food in the mode of pure goodness, and that is food that is offered to Krishna. Any food offered to Krishna becomes prasadam, and that is actually food for all devotees. Devotees are advised to take only Krishna prasadam. They shall not eat anything which is not Krishna prasadam. Yajna sister. Yajna sister means food that is offered, to the Lord. Yeah? And that is the food for the devotees. If you eat anything other than that, is considered eating sinful food. So brahmachari food or grahastha food or vanaprastha food or sannyas food is only food that is offered to the Lord. There is no brahmachari food. There is no such thing. What? Brahmachari is what? Only some grass or something? No. Food means food is offered to Krishna and it's called prasadam. So you take prasadam, then you are free from all sinful reaction. This is the condition. And if you eat anything other than prasadam, the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is first offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So anything other than prasadam is sinful food, and it must be avoided. You eat anything other than prasadam, you cannot remember Krishna. Hmm? Yes. Hmm. You follow. Hmm? Yes. And when you cannot remember Krishna, then what is the use of living? Uh, yes. You can see here. When one eats food offered by a materialistic man, one's mind becomes contaminated. And when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna properly. So this is what we all have to eat, no? Correct? Whether you are in any ashram, everyone is supposed to eat only Krishna food. That's why we are told to eat food by first offering to Krishna. Then that food, whatever it is, grains or vegetables or, there's different categories of them. You can see here, not that we only eat fruit, leaf, flower, water. Huh? Krishna says, you can offer me so many varieties. Huh? You can see here, within his meal, the devotee should arrange to offer me sugar candy, sweet rice, ghee, saskuli, rice flour cakes, apupa, various sweet cakes, modaka, steamed rice flour dumpling filled with sweet coconut and sugar, samyava, wheat cakes made with ghee and milk and covered with sugar and spices, yogurt, vegetable soup, and other palatable food. Hmm? So you see how hmm, it's just not limited to some fruit, leaf, and water, no? Hmm? So all these are considered as prasad. Hmm? So you can offer them at length according to your means. You say within his means. Then you offer and you take as much as you like. Hmm?
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm driving. That's why only network is not.
So if the soul never die, then how come suicide is a sin? So you are given so much time in your body to perform to live out your term. You see, you are put into this body because of your previous life action, and you have to fulfill that term. And if you prematurely terminate that according to some independent free will of yours, that tantamounts to shortening your life against the predetermined time. So that is considered as an offense. So when you do that, you have to suffer the reaction of hanging around in your subtle body as a ghost until your remaining time is over. Then you'll be given another body. And not that you commit suicide, you'll immediately take another body. No, you will hang around as a ghost. So that's why that's a punishment. That's why it is not, allowed by Shastric injunction. So committing suicide is not a valid option. Huh? You understand? Hello? Who asked this question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I asked Prabhu.
You asked, huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
So we are not allowed to do that. Hmm?
Prabhu,
You understand?
3.31 Prabhu.
3.1?
3.31 1 Srimad Bhagavad. 3.31.1 Srimad Bhagavatam.
Three point 31 what?
3.31.1
What is it about? Yeah. Hmm. This is showing how the soul goes to another body, no? Correct? Huh?
Bro, what is the question on this one?
You said what? Suicide. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if I can get Krishna by committing suicide, I will commit suicide. But that's not the way, no? You understand? So suicide is not the solution, no? Huh? Not that you can do whimsically. Measures like suicide are causes for sin. A devotee never achieves shelter at Krishna's lotus feet by such action. Understand? Hmm? You follow? Hello? Huh? You cannot, this is not authorized, you know. Suicide is not sanctioned, you know. Right. Hare Krishna. If anyone accepting Srila Prabhupada as initiating Guru and reading his book can act like Shiksha Guru, what will be the relation between a Shiksha Guru and neophyte who just come in bhakti? A Shiksha Guru is supposed to be representing Prabhupada and teaching others what he learned from Prabhupada. It's not that a Shiksha Guru immediately goes and sit in a big Rajasthan and get all kind of garlands and start being worshipped, you know, his lotus feet being washed and all that. Huh? A Shiksha Guru means that he is representing Prabhupada and helping others. He may just have learned how to put tilak and dhoti and then he teach other newcomers. So that's just one also called a Shiksha Guru. Someone who has learned from Prabhupada the method of going to Prabhupada and Krishna, we should impart that to others. That means Shiksha. Hmm? And that in that sense, Prabhupada said everybody is Shiksha Guru, whoever is in the movement. Hmm? So someone is a little senior, he gives the direction. That's new person, he gets another direction. He doesn't know anything, so he learns. Hmm? That's the meaning of Shiksha. How to actually offer food to Krishna and make it prasadam? I think you can write this. Somebody can write to him and tell him all these things. Huh? All the mantras. Yes. Someone is available to write to him and give him all the
Yes,
mantras
Prabhu.
and everything.
I'll share, Prabhu. Yes.
I will have to leave now as I'm going out. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this session of faith. Can you explain how Krishna is the doer and we are the observer? I don't know how Krishna is the doer and we are the observer. As I know that we are sitting in the tree, two birds, Krishna is observing us and we are trying to enjoy the material world. That is explained. Two birds sitting in a tree. One bird is trying to enjoy the fruits of the tree, and that is the living entity. And the other bird is the Supreme Lord, who is witnessing the actions. So that's explained. By chance, two birds have made a nest together in the same tree. The two birds are friends and of similar nature. One of them, however, is eating the fruits of the tree, whereas the other, who does not eat the fruit, is in a superior position due to his potency. The example of the two birds in the same tree is given to illustrate the presence within the heart of the material body of both the individual soul and the supersoul, the personality of Godhead. Just as a bird makes a nest in a tree, the living entity sits within the heart. The example is appropriate because the bird is always distinct from the tree. Similarly, both the individual soul and the supersoul are distinct entities, separate from the temporary material body. The word Balena indicates that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied by his own internal potency, which consists of eternity, omniscience, and bliss, as indicated by the word Bhuyan, or having superior existence. The Supreme Lord is always in a superior position, whereas the living entity is sometimes in illusion and sometimes enlightened. The word Balena indicates the Lord is never in darkness or ignorance, but is always full in his perfect, blissful consciousness. So the Lord is Nirana, or uninterested in the bitter fruits of material activities, whereas the ordinary conditioned soul easily consumes such bitter fruits, thinking them to be sweet. Unfortunately, the fruit of all material endeavor is death. But the living entity foolishly thinks material things will bring him pleasure. The word Sakau, or two friends, is also significant. Our real friend is Lord Krishna, who is situated within our heart. Only He knows our actual needs, and only He can give us real happiness. Lord Krishna is so kind that He patiently sits in the heart trying to guide the conditioned soul back home, back to Godhead. Certainly no material friend would remain within his foolish companion for millions of years, especially if his companion were to ignore him or even curse him. But Lord Krishna is such a faithful, loving friend that he accompanies even the most demonic living entity and is also in the heart of the insect taken down. This is because Lord Krishna is supremely Krishna conscious and sees every living entity as part and parcel of himself. Every living being should give up the bitter fruits of the tree of material existence. One should turn one's face to the Lord within the heart and revive one's eternal relationship with one's real friend, Lord Krishna. The word sadrusha, or similar nature, indicates that both the living entity and the personality of Godhead are conscious entities as part and parcel of Lord. We share the Lord's nature and in infinitesimal quantity. Thus the Lord, the living entity, Sadrusha, a similar statement is found in the Svataraha Upanishad. There are two birds in one tree, one of them is eating the fruits of the tree, while the other is witnessing the action. The witness is the Lord, and the fruit eater is the living entity. The bird who does not eat the fruits of the tree is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who by his omniscience perfectly understands his own position and that of the conditioned living entity represented by the eating bird. That living entity, on the other hand, does not understand himself or the Lord. He is covered by ignorance and thus called eternally conditioned. Whereas the personality of Godhead, being full of perfect knowledge, is eternally liberated. So this is the understanding. That's why when we start thinking that we are the doers, then we get implicated. So one who is enlightened in self-realization, although living within the material body, sees himself as transcendental to the body. This is one who has risen from a dream, gives identification with the dream body. A foolish person, however, although not identical with material body, but transcendental to it, thinks himself to be situated in the body. Just as one who is dreaming sees himself as situated in imaginary body. So this is how a person who thinks that he is the doer. An enlightened person is free from the contamination of material desire. does not consider himself to be the performer. You see that? He's not the performer of bodily activity. Rather, he knows that in all such activity, it is only the senses born of the modes of nature that are contacting sense objects born of the same modes of nature. So this is the thing. An entire enlightened person knows that actually the senses are acting with the sense object, and all this is due to the modes of material nature. Huh? I recommend you to read the book or you understand that. An unintelligent person situated in the body created by his previous fruitive activity thinks that I am the performer of action. Bewildered by false ego, such a foolish person is therefore bound by fruitive activity, which is in fact carried out by the modes of nature. This again is also there in Bhagavad Gita 3:27. Prakriti Kiryamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasya Ankara Vimudatma Kartahamiti Manyate. The living entity is dependent on the Supreme Entity, Lord Krishna, but because of false pride, he ignores the Supreme Personality of Godhead and considers himself to be the performer of action and enjoyer of everything. Srila Madhvacharya states that just as a king punishes a rebellious subject, the Supreme Lord punishes the sinful living entity by forcing him to transmigrate from one body to another in a network of illusory energy. So you see, this is you understand? So this is how he distinguishes an enlightened person fixed in detachment, engaged his body in lying down, sitting, walking, bathing, seeing, touching, smelling, eating, hearing, and so on. But is never entangled by such activities. Indeed, remaining as witness to all bodily function, he merely engages bodily senses with the objects and does not become entangled like an unintelligent person. So this is important to understand how we are not the doers, but the Lord is the doer by the modes of material nature. So when you surrender to Him, then Krishna will directly take charge. Although the sky or space is the resting place of everything, the sky does not mix with anything, nor is it entangled. Similarly, the sun is at all attached to the water in which it is reflected with innumerable reservoirs, and the mighty wind blowing everywhere is not affected by the innumerable aromas and atmosphere through which it passes. In the same way, a self-realized soul is completely detached from material body and the material world around it. It's like a person who has awakened and arisen from a dream. With expert vision sharpened by detachment, the self-realized soul cuts all doubt to pieces through knowledge of the self and completely withdraws its consciousness from the expansion of material variety. See? So this is the difference between an enlightened soul and a conditioned soul. A conditioned soul will be thinking that I am the doer, whereas an enlightened soul understands this is all carried out by the external energy of the Lord. A person is considered to be completely liberated from the gross and subtle material body when all the function of vital energy, senses, mind, intelligence are performed without material desire. Such a person, although superior in the body, is not entangled. So if you do your actions to please Krishna or do action in Krishna consciousness, then you are liberated soul. But if you do your action in order to get self-gratification, then you get entangled. So this is the process. Either you get entangled by the modes of mental nature, or you get liberated by serving Krishna. So then Krishna will engage you in his service. But how also the living entity is actually sitting in the heart together with the Lord. So you can understand that. My question, is it true that demigods come to one body, those who worship demigod. Please explain. So, how the demigod comes from the what I know, the demigods are controlling the different parts of our body. I don't know how the demigods come into our body, that I have not heard. But I know they are the controllers of our eyelid and controllers of our hearing and controllers of our breathing and so many, there are 330 million of them. So each of them, they have a specific role in controlling different aspects of the manifestation. But they're going into the body, I don't think that's a valid statement because only the super soul goes into the body of all living entities. Andantusta Paramanu Chayantarastam in the Bhagavatam. Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord enters into all the atoms and not the demigods. The Lord enters. Huh? In that verse you can see Pantas Koti Satavara Sampragyamo, the Brahma Samhita. Anyone knows that verse? Huh? Brahma Samhita. Give me a minute, I'll take it out so you can read.
Sir, 534. 534.
Well, 534, huh? What is the 535?
Ekopieshu Rachayatam Jagadantakoti.
35. So it's 35. So here you can see here the word, Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam. I worship the personality of Godhead Govinda, who by one of his plenary portion enters into the existence of every universe and every particle of the atoms, and thus unlimitedly manifests his infinite energy all over the material creation. So you see, the Lord enters. I never heard any demigod entering. Anyone knows about demigod entering? I don't think it's a valid statement. The Lord enters into the atoms and into the universe and everything. But the demigods, they are living entities who are playing the role of managing some aspects of the universal management. But they are not given that role to enter into the atoms and universe and all that. Right? Is that clear?
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So what is the Purusha avatar, Yuga avatar, Guna avatar, Satyavesh avatar? So these things I explained in the CC, Madhya Lila chapter 20. So if you go there, you can read about all these incarnations of the Lord. Do you have the CC with you? Hello?
No, Guruji. No, means in online, but physical copy I have.
So okay, you go online and you can read about them, all the different incarnations of the Lord. What is the Purusha avatar? What is the Manvanta avatar? What is the Lila avatar? So this is explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. I will tell you the chapter, it is chapter 20, Madhya Lila. Anyone knows the exact here? 165. this whole subject.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
You can read the chapter in chapter 20, with all the incarnation of the Lord is explained there. Huh? The Leela avatar, the Purusha avatar, it's a lengthy subject. Okay, you go and take a look at that, no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Madhya 20.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So any other questions? So anyone have anything else?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
I want to know about something that this Siksha Guru, can anyone act like a Siksha Guru if he following four regulative principle?
Of course, you must follow the four regulative principles in order to be a teacher. If a person is not following, how he can teach? Huh? Correct? Apane
Yes,
achar bhakti sikhamunusava. First you act and then you can teach. If you don't act, how you can teach? Hmm? Correct?
yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Hmm. So that is the meaning of someone who want to give instruction. He has to first practice. If he is not practicing, how he can teach? His teaching will have no effect. Suppose I'm smoking cigarette and I tell you don't smoke cigarette. Can it work? Huh?
No, Prabhuji.
Ah, so you first have to practice before you can become Shiksha Guru. Hmm?
Yes, Prabhuji. Right.
Hmm. You want to give Shiksha without practicing, that it doesn't make any sense. Huh?
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm. Hmm. Would you want to learn from somebody who's a cheater? Huh? Correct? Hello?
Yes, Prabhuji. I understand.
Huh? One who restrains the senses of action, restrains the senses of action but whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly dilutes himself and is called a pretender. Huh? Do you want to go and learn from such a person? Hmm? Hello?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Huh? There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness but make a show of meditation while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense of enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak on dry philosophy in order to bluff sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, these are the greatest cheaters. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of the social order, but if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. But he who makes a show of being a yogi while actually searching for the objects of sense gratification must be called the greatest cheater. Even though he sometimes speaks of philosophy, his knowledge has no value. You see that? Huh? His knowledge is what?
No value. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, because the effects of such a sinful man knowledge are taken away by the illusory energy of the Lord. Such a pretended mind is always impure and therefore a show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. So you must go to a genuine person who is following to teach. Huh? If you're not following, then how you can become teacher? Huh? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, right.
This is how you must follow. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind demand, the actions of anger and the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So in order to become a teacher, you must control the urge to speak, the mind, control the mind, control the anger, control the urges of the tongue, belly, genitals. These are all qualification to control. If you cannot control your senses, then how can you teach? Hmm? Yes? Yes, understand? Hmm?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
So Shiksha Guru, if he doesn't practice, then what is the idea of that? Hmm? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu, I understand. Yes.
Hmm. Especially if you go to people who have disobeyed Prabhupada, then what is the use of following them? Hmm? Is there any value? Somebody who is become useless by not following Prabhupada's instruction, and you go to them and take direction, then where do you go? Hmm? They're actually boarding a stone boat. Followers who have disobeyed Prabhupada, they're committing a biggest offense. Hmm? So how
Yes,
can they
Prabhu.
become Shiksha Gurus? If you've gone against your Guru, then how you can give instruction? Hmm?
Yes, they
No,
cannot.
use.
Yes.
No use. Yeah?
No, yes, yes, Prabhu. Right.
Hmm. So we should be very careful to follow such people. Correct? Yes. Therefore, we must know who to follow and who not to follow. Not simply follow blindly, no? Huh? What
Yes,
happened to
Prabhu.
the soul of normal householders after that? Do they suffer a lot? Anyone normal, what does normal mean, bro? What is the definition of a normal householder? Anyone who is not Krishna conscious is subject to be brought to Yamaraj for punishment. But anyone who is chanting Krishna's name, then they are excused. That is the verdict of Yamaraj. If you become Krishna conscious, and even if you are in any ashram, then you are liberated. Hmm? You can see here, those who engage in auspicious activity in devotional service certainly understand that the ultimate enjoyer or beneficiary of all activities is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, when one acts, he offers the result to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and passes life always engaged in topics of the Lord. Even though such a person may be participating in family life, he is not affected by the results of his actions. So you see here, if you are a householder and engage in Krishna conscious activities, then you are you're not subject to hellish punishment, you are liberated. Uh, Generally, a person living in a family becomes overly attached to fruitive activity. In other words, he tries to enjoy the result of his activity. A devotee, however, knows that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and the supreme proprietor. Bhoktaram Yajya Tapasam Sarvalokam Maheshwaram. Consequently, the devotee does not consider himself the proprietor of any occupation. The devotee always thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the proprietor. Therefore, the result of his business are offered to the Supreme Lord. One who thus lives in the material world with his family and children never become affected by the contamination of the material world. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 3.9. यज्ञानात् कर्म नयत्र लोकयामि कर्मबन्धनयः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गं समाचरः. One who tries to enjoy the result of his activities becomes bound by the result. One who offers the result of profit to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, does not become entangled in the result. This is the secret of success. Generally, people take sannyas to become free from the reaction of fruitive activity. One who does not receive the result of his action, but offers them instead to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, certainly remains in a liberated condition. And Bhaktirasa Mandu Sindhu Shinarupa Goswami confirms this. Yesya Hare Dasye Karamana Manasagira Nikila Swapi Avastasu Jivan Muktasa Uchate. If one engages himself in the service of the Lord through his life, wealth, worth, and intelligence, and everything he possesses, he will always be liberated in any condition. Such a person is called Jivan Mukta, one who is liberated during this lifetime. Devoid of Krishna consciousness, those who engage in material activities simply become more entangled in material bondage. They have to suffer and enjoy the actions and reaction of all activities. This Krishna conscious movement is therefore the greatest boon to humanity because it keeps one always engaged in Krishna service. Devotees think of Krishna, act for Krishna, eat for Krishna, sleep for Krishna, and work for Krishna, because everything is engaged in the service of Krishna. But the life in Krishna can't save one from material contamination, as stated in the book by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami. Sri Hari Seva Haya Aha Anukula Vishaya Baliya Tyag Haya Bhula. If one is so expert that he can engage everything or dovetail everything in the service of the Lord, to give up material world would be a great blunder. One should learn how to dovetail everything in the service of the Lord, so everything is connected to Krishna. This is the real purpose of life and secret of success, as reiterated later in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita 3.19. Tasmad ashakta satatam karyam karma samachara. Shakto he acharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activity, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. The third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita specifically considers material activities for the purpose of sense gratification and material activities for the purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. The conclusion is that these are not one and the same. Material activities for sense gratification are the cause of material bondage, whereas the very same activities for satisfaction of Krishna are the cause of liberation. How the same activity can be cause of bondage and liberation can be explained as follows. One may get indigestion due to eating too many milk preparations, condensed milk, sweet rice, and so on. But even though there is indigestion or diarrhea, another milk preparation, yogurt mixed with black pepper and salt, will immediately cure these maladies. In other words, one milk preparation can cause indigestion and diarrhea, another milk preparation can cure them. If one is placed in the material plane due to the special mercy of the Supreme Personality of God, it is not considered an opulence or curse of bondage. When a mature devotee is blessed with material opulence, he does not become affected adversely, for he knows how to employ material opulence in the service of the Lord. There are many such examples in the history of the world. There were kings like Ritu Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Janaka, Dhruva, Vaivasta, Manu, and Maharaj. Shishvaku, all of these were great kings and were specially favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If the devotee is not mature, the Supreme Lord will take away all his opulence. This principle is stated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yashaham anugrami harishyata dhanam sanayiv. My first mercy shown to my devotee is to take away all his material opulence. Material opulence, detrimental to devotional service, is taken away by the Supreme Lord. Whereas a person who is mature in devotional service is given all material facilities. So you can understand from this how if you are a householder, if you engage in Krishna's service, then you are in right position. But if you are a householder and you don't do any devotional service, then you have to reap the reaction of your sinful work. So there's no two way about that. Yes. Pitra worship is different. Pitra worship is worshipping the forefathers. If you worship the forefathers, then you go to the planet of the forefathers. It is explained. You worship the ghosts, you become ghosts. You understand? If you
Yes, Prabhu.
worship the demigods, you go to the demigods. But if you worship Krishna, then you go to Krishna. But all these other three things, you get repeated birth and death. Only Krishna consciousness, your state is repeated birth and death. But the choice is yours. What you want to do. So why not become a devotee? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
How much difficult it is to open the mouth and say Hare Krishna. Correct? It is very difficult to open the mouth and say Hare Krishna and try to do all these other gymnastics. They're not very practical. It's so much easier to chant. Oh my friends, sons of Asura, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and its Super Soul feature always exists within the cause of the heart of all living entities. And it is the well-wisher and friend of all living entities, and there is no difficulty in worshipping the Lord. Why then should people not engage in devotional service? Why are they so addicted to unnecessarily producing artificial paraphernalia for self-gratification? There's so much hard work they want to do, so many things to get self-gratification. Because the personality of Godhead is supreme, no one is equal to him and no one is greater than him. Nonetheless, if one is a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord is easily obtainable. The Lord is compared to the sky because the sky is vast yet within the reach of all. Not only for human beings, but even for the animals. The Supreme Lord in his Paramatma Kitya exists as a past well-wisher and friend, confirmed in the Vedas. Sahudyao Pathao. The Lord in his super soul feature always stays in the heart along with the living entity. The Lord is so friendly to the living entity that he remains within the heart so that one can always contact him without difficulty. One can do this simply by devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevam. As soon as one hears of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna Chaitanya, one immediately comes in touch with the Lord. A devotee immediately comes in touch with the Lord by any or all of the items of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Satyam, Atmanivedanam. There is no difficulty in coming in contact with the Supreme Lord. Koti Priyasaha. On the other hand, going to hell requires great endeavor. If one wants to go to hell by illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, intoxication, he must acquire so many things. For illicit sex, he must arrange for money, for brothels, for meat eating, he must arrange for many slaughterhouses. For gambling, he must arrange for casinos and hotels, and for intoxication, he must open many breweries. Clearly, therefore, if one wants to go to hell, he must endeavor very much. But if one wants to return back home, back to Godhead, there's no difficulty. There's no difficult endeavor. To go back to Godhead, one may live alone anywhere in any condition, simply sit down, meditate upon the super soul, and chant and hear about the Lord. Thus, there's no difficulty in approaching the Lord. Andante kope visitam samishram. Because of inability to control the senses, one must go through great endeavor to go to hell. But if one is sensible, he can very easily obtain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the Lord is always within. By the simple method of Shravan Kirtan Vishnu, the Lord is satisfied, and the Lord says, Patram pushpam palam toyam yomi bhakta priyachate adham bhakti uparitam asnami priyatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, flower, fruit or water, I will accept. One can meditate upon the Lord anywhere and everywhere. Thus, Lord Maharaj advised that the Santos demon to take his path home back to Godhead without difficulty. You see how such move is here. It is so easy to sit somewhere and chant Hare Krishna, than to go and try to enjoy the senses, for which we need so much endeavor. But it's so easy to chant. Anyone can chant. Huh? Anyone can chant. Correct?
Yes.
The holy name of Lord Krishna is an attractive feature of many saintly liberal people. But the annihilator of all sinful reaction is so powerful that save for the dumb who cannot chant it, it is readily available to everyone, including the lowest type of man, the Chandala. The holy name of Krishna is the controller of the opulence of liberation and is identical with Krishna. When a person simply chants the holy name with his tongue, immediate effects are produced. Chanting the holy name does not depend on initiation, pious activity, or purusharchari, a regulated principle generally observed before initiation. The holy name does not wait for any of these activities. It is self-sufficient. So you see how easy to do this? Whereas to do all sinful work, you need to work so hard to produce all those things. Yes, as you are committing your action now, then that will predetermine your next life. So accordingly, your subtle body will carry you to the next body based on your current actions and thoughts. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, can you please explain the last verse which you have read? It says, chanting the holy name does not depend upon initiation.
Yeah, it does not depend on initiation, because you can see if anyone comes and starts chanting, immediately they become purified. They start getting to be free from sinful work and all that. But to make it successful, you need to have initiation. Connect yourself, because the mantra that you hear will become more effective when you are hearing from a spiritual master. Well, the mantra is effective, there's no doubt about it. So here you can see Lord Shiva only came to bless the sons of the king as well as to do something beneficial for them. He personally chanted the mantra so that the mantra will be more powerful. They advised that the mantra be chanted by the king's son, Rajaputra. When a mantra is chanted by a great devotee, the mantra becomes more powerful. Although the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is powerful in itself, the disciple upon initiation receives the mantra from the spiritual master. So when the mantra is chanted by the spiritual master, it becomes more powerful. Lord Shiva advised the son of the king to hear him attentively, for inattentive hearing is essential. Is that understood? Hello?
Yeah, like if you receive the mantra, it is powerful, like, but you just receive it for like 1 minute. Then you have to still chant by yourself for the rest of your life.
That's why
So,
when you chant, we recommend you to play the Prabhupada chanting tape along. So when you chant with Prabhupada and hear them, then your chanting also becomes very potent. Huh? Because the chanting of a pure devotee is many, many times more powerful than our own chanting. Yes?
okay.
Understand this point? So when you get connected to the spiritual master, upon initiation, it says here, a disciple upon initiation receives the mantra from his spiritual master. Huh? So you have to receive the mantra officially from the spiritual master through the process of initiation. Yes?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm. So you're not officially connected to the Guru, then it's the mantra you may keep chanting, but it will not be as effective. Hmm? To get the full benefit of this, you must go to a Guru.
Some are of the opinion that Prabhupada has already instructed like to chant everybody to chant 16 rounds. So does it make it a formality to accept initiation or anything of that sort, because the instruction is already there? So
If the instructions already there, then why did Prabhupada specifically give instruction of initiation? He doesn't need to do that. Yes? Hello?
yes, Prabhuji.
Correct? So when there's no initiation, already he said you just chant. But if there's no initiation, how the person gets connected to the parampara? Hmm? Yes? Diksha is the process by which one can awaken his transcendent knowledge and vanquish all reactions as substantial activity. The person expert in the study of revealed scriptures know this process of Diksha. The regulative principle of Diksha is explained in the Hari Bhakti Vilas and the Bhakti Sandarbha as stated. Even though born in a Brahmana family, one cannot engage in Vedic ritual without being initiated and having a sacred thread. Although born in a Brahmana family, one becomes a Brahmana only after initiation and the sacred thread ceremony. Unless one initiated as a Brahmana, one cannot worship the holy name properly. You see this here? Hello?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Unless one is initiated as a Brahmana, one cannot worship the holy name properly. According to the Vaishnava regulative principle, one must be initiated as a Brahmana. The Hari Bhakti Vilas quotes the following injunctions from the Vishnu Yamala. Unless one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, all his devotional activities are useless. A person who is not properly initiated can descend again into animal species. So you see how detrimental it is. Hmm? Hello?
Prabhu, it feels very heavy, like without initiation, devotional activities are useless. Like, there are so many encouraging statements, like in 240 Bhagavad Gita, whatever little we may do, it's eternal gain. So to say it as useless is, kind of very harsh, in my opinion. Everybody
Yeah,
has their opinion, but I feel it
because
harsh.
this is to kind of encourage you to take it up more seriously.
Yeah.
Because some people will just think, okay, it's all right, I just chant and I'll just go on. Understand?
Prabhu, if I
Yeah?
were to think, from my own way of analyzing, everything comes with a responsibility. Initiation or taking any vow, going into marriage, or any such commitments. If you are making, you have to be very strong character to be able to stand up to such vows through the rest of your life. I feel it's better not to get into such vows, because it's in Kali Yuga times, like especially myself, I feel that, to make such vows and then not able to stand by those for XYZ reasons is also sinful, because you are taking vow
I,
and then you are not confident enough.
no, therefore, you have to learn how to become confident. So you practice under the guidance of the spiritual master instruction and then become confident. Yeah? Until you make the commitment of surrender to the spiritual master, how you can make spiritual advancement? Without the commitment to surrender to the spiritual, it is the duty of every human being to surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. Give him everything, body, mind, internal. One must take Vaishnava initiation from him. It's the duty. You can say, no, I don't want to do this duty. That's not very intelligent. Understand? Being born as a human being, and if you know there's a bona fide spiritual master, it's your duty to surrender to him immediately. Oh, I don't think I can follow. Therefore, you practice. For 6 months, you have to learn how to chant and become steady. Not that, oh, I think I won't do, I will just stay like this. And what if you die and you become an animal? Huh? A person not properly initiated can descend again to animal species. You want to take the risk? Hello? Hmm?
I'm not sure, Prabhu. I feel very lazy sometimes, and I just feel
That's
that
the problem. That's the
Om
problem
Agyanti
because
Mirandasya, just some hearing saves me. I feel otherwise lazy to chant and very, you can say, lethargic person. Only hearing is my saving grace. Like, I'm getting your
so
mercy now.
you cannot do devotional service your way. It doesn't work. If you feel like this and feel like that, then you're under the control of your mind. You have to learn how to surrender. That's why the first thing is to surrender and accept a guru. Spiritual life starts from that point. And if you're not willing to do that, then you keep on hearing and hearing for millions of years. No problem. What is the use? Huh? You'll never go back to Godhead because you are not surrendering. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says, Sarva Dharma Parityagya Mam Ekam Sharanam. Krishna is asking you to surrender. If you don't want to surrender and you want to do your thing, yeah, no problem. You can carry on taking birth and dying and birth and dying and going on for millions and millions of years, no problem. Which you have already done or doing still. You want to actually stop this thing, then you have to take shelter of spiritual master who will then bring you to Krishna. The duty of the spiritual master is to teach you how to go back to Krishna. Hello?
Prabhuji, like, I feel like surrender means then your all activities should be under the instruction of that spiritual master, or it's just 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles.
You surrender and the spiritual master will guide you along. Whenever you have problems and doubts, you go and inquire from him and he will guide you. That's how it works. Not that the spiritual master surrendering means he said, sit here, stand here, eat this, that, you have no independence of action. No. That's not what surrender means. Surrender means that you surrender to spiritual master and working under his guidance. and going on your activities. If you are what? A brahmachari, you do your brahmachari work. Your grahastha, you do your grahastha work. Your vanaprastha, you do vanaprastha. Sanya, do sanya. So in this way, accordingly, you have to work. As a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, you carry on, but under the guidance of Guru. Just like Arjuna, he was confused. Krishna guided him. Okay, you fight. Krishna never say you surrender, therefore you sit down and I order you, you do this, you do that. Yeah. Understand? So carry on his work as Sai Krishna said. Always think of me and fight. Do your prescribed duty. So you should learn.
Prabhu,
Because you are not knowing, you are very hesitant, because you are thinking that this is detrimental, therefore you don't understand. Just like I can sit here and describe that this honey bottle I'm selling you is very sweet. Until you open the jar and taste the honey, how are you going to know it? Correct? Huh? Yes.
yes, Prabhuji.
Fear means it is a principle of trying to work against Krishna. Whenever we go against the order of Krishna, then fear engulfs us. But the moment we stand with the
Prabhuji,
Krishna,
just one
yes.
small query. Like, the need of a guru in traditional Vedic society, or it's for everybody, or only for one who is inquisitive to go back to Godhead? For me, like, I would be happy even if I go to some heavenly planets or just upgrade myself to more goodness, sattvic lifestyle, and more pious living. So should I then think of surrender to Guru, or is it better to be, as I am trying to chant and hear and whatever I can do, because it's like, I feel initiation is only for going back to Godhead, or is it for just the practice itself?
It is said that the moment you go into spiritual life, you must have a guru. You cannot do spiritual life without a guru. That's not possible. Savijnanaratam Guru eva bhigachat. It is said in this verse in the Upanishad that you must eva bhigachat, means you must have a guru. You cannot say it is optional. It's not optional. You understand this? Huh?
Yes.
Hello? This is the
Yeah.
regulated principle. You must have a guru and be connected to the Sampradaya by a bona fide guru and getting the Hare Krishna mantra from him. Then yes, your spiritual life will take off. And you will be free from all this so-called apprehension, fear, question, doubt. Everything will clear. But if you don't, then this will always be, the mind will be always giving you so many doubts, fear, worry, hesitant. This is the result of not surrendering to the process. Are you following?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
What the Prabhuji won't get results for all of his her activity in this life, positive result. They are getting the result according to their previous karma. Yes. And for this reason, Krishna said, you just do your duty, activities, but your results isn't in your hands, whether you earn the cost of your results. You see, if you become Krishna conscious and work for Krishna, then yes, you are not implicated. But if you're going to work on your own initiative for your own sense gratification, then you have to reap the results. So when you perform activities for the pleasure of Krishna, then you don't get any reaction. But when you do something with expecting some result, then you have to take the reaction. You understand? That's why the advice by Krishna himself that you do, but you do it for me. So how to do activities for Krishna conscious, you must learn from the spiritual master. You understand? Become Krishna conscious, you must learn from a spiritual master how to become a devotee, how to work, and that way you become free from reaction. How does one find a spiritual master? We don't need to find any spiritual master. The spiritual master is Srila Prabhupada himself. All you need to know how to surrender to him now. That's all. And how do you know that the master is genuine? Prabhupada has no doubt about it. There's no need to check his credentials. He's already proven his worth. Because you can see how by men so many people are following him and many people are making strong advancements. So what we say, the credentials of the spiritual master in the case Prabhupada, we don't have to worry about it. Now we have to worry about our credentials, whether we are qualified to get connected to Prabhupada or not, whether we are following the principles and chanting and all that. If we are not doing all these things, then we have to get to strengthen our actions, try to work on it. Huh? Yes? Hello? Who is asking this question? Demonic Western society create an ideal in the whole world that surrendering to someone means you becoming a slave of someone. Yeah, but because you don't understand, and then you say surrender, immediately it kind of a synonymous to the word slave. But you don't understand. When you surrender to a pure devotee, you are actually becoming liberated from your slave mentality and becoming to your true position as a servant of God. So that you have to understand by surrendering to a pure devotee. A pure devotee doesn't want people to surrender to him. He teaches you to surrender to Krishna, God. Of course, then it is, you have to be grateful for saving us. We have to surrender to our Guru, who is always, bringing you to Krishna. So this thing you have to learn. How to chant 16 rounds in my exam. The exam is exam, chanting is chanting. How to correlate this both? Huh? So you chant your rounds before you go to the exam, or you chant your round after you finish the exam? You can't be doing two things at the same time. Huh? Can you do that? I don't know. Any other questions? So you try to wake up early in the morning and try to chant your rounds before going to exam. That will help you. Okay. Anything else? Anybody has any more queries?
Prabhu, when will you return to Singapore?
I am planning to go to Delhi now. I am leaving on Sunday for Delhi. So after my Delhi program, we will see how to go back to Singapore.
Okay, thank you so much.
Where are you now located at?
I am in Gangtok, Sikkim. I plan to go to some places via Singapore. So in November. So I was thinking if I could go, although my parents' house is near Delhi, but right now I'm not planning a travel. So unfortunately, I can't meet you. So.
Okay, if you are ever thinking of coming to Delhi, you can come down, you can meet up. Right?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Be nice. You can meet us sometime.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Any questions left? Hello? There's no more questions, then I guess we will stop our session here. Thank you all so much for your patience. Yes,
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
give
Thank you,
us your
Prabhu.
blessings. Give
Thank
us
you,
your
Prabhu.
blessings that we can some or other
Thank you, Prabhuji.
preach our
Thank
Krishna
you,
consciousness.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. All glories to
Hare
Srila
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
All
Hare
glories
Krishna,
to all
Prabhu,
of
Prabhu.
you.
thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
I'll
Prabhu.
get this to you, Prabhu.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare
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 Krishna.
Thank you.